You're listening to Create Wealth Through Franchising, and I'm your host, Kim Daly. In my 20 years as a franchise consultant, I've helped hundreds of people achieve their dreams of building and scaling franchise businesses to create wealth. The interview you're about to hear can also be found on my YouTube channel, where I post new franchising content multiple times per week. Please take a moment to subscribe to the podcast and to my YouTube channel at kimdaly.tv. Now, enjoy the show. Welcome back to Kim Daly TV. My very special guest for us today, he is a mindset coach. His name is J.M. Ryerson. J.M., welcome to the studio of Kim Daly TV.
Thanks for having me, Kim. I love the TV part. It's so key. It's like you have a perfect face for TV.
So thank you so much. I am so excited to interview you today. Guys, I met JM because I was a guest on his podcast, Let's Go Win, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. But he's a mindset coach, and my followers know, if you know anything about Kim Daly, I am a mindset coach. That's what makes me high performing. That's what will make you high performing when you decide to become a business owner or a franchisee. So I'm super excited. Let me do a little background on JM before we just kind of open it up to our first question. But he is an international speaker, mindset and business coach, the host of Let's Go Win podcast, and a best-selling author of Let's Go Win, The Keys to Living Your Best Life, and champions daily playbook, which I think I need to get my hands on that playbook. He helps high-performing leaders define and execute their individual leadership styles to grow. His passion is to help others succeed at work, at home, by offering simple tools for work-life balance. I mean, everything that we talk about here on Kim Daly TV. So, JM, welcome to the conversation.
I'm excited to be here. And your last name is so good for what we do. I don't know if that's your maiden name or your husband's name, but I'll tell you what, you crushed it. Well done.
It is my married name, and sadly I'm divorced, but I kept the last name, and I'm like, thank you for 2 great kids and an amazing last name for marketing.
There you go. Crushed it right out the gate. Like, worth every penny.
That's amazing. So where I would like you to open this conversation is, okay, you say that winning is a mindset, not a result. I mean, bam, let's go.
Yeah, it is funny because the name of my company is Let's Go Win. And so often people are like, so it's about wins and losses. And I'm like, no, not even a little bit. The idea of Let's Go Win is to set yourself up every single day to win. It doesn't mean you're not going to fail. It doesn't mean that you're going to win every single time. It's just, what are we doing to set ourselves up to win every single day? And that is literally the idea of Let's Go Win. As you talked about mindset, I mean, the sign to my left that you can't see says mindset matters, because I think Henry Ford had the best quote: whether you think you can or can't, you're right. And it's so interesting to me so often that people get wrapped up in, well, I failed, therefore it doesn't work. And it's like, dude, how many times do you need to fail to understand the only way you truly fail is if you quit? The only way you don't succeed is if you quit. And so it is an interesting thing. I'm not saying it's easy, right? Because mindset, we have challenges. Life happens. Like you said, you talked about a life event, a divorce. Things get in the way. But guess what? It's your mindset that is going to let you now succeed and or ultimately not or fail. And I don't believe in failure because I just don't know how to quit, I guess, at the end of the day. And the other thing that's fascinating about it is the mindset and the journey is the best part of it. So I just sold out of my last company, and you think, okay, you're getting whatever amount that you're getting in this sum. And you think, okay, that's the end all be all. No, it's not. I think back to all the days of grinding, the amazing trips that we had, the meetings where we're screaming at each other. Believe it or not, that's the good times. It's not when you're getting that check or selling. So it is fascinating to work with people on their mindset on a daily basis, and just how much it is all about focusing on that on a daily, every single intentional moment about where's your mindset, what are you doing to feed it.
Hey, Daily Coach fans, if you're ready to take the first step in exploring franchise opportunities, please reach out right now. My franchise consulting services cost you nothing. Email me at inquire@kimdaly.tv. That's inquire@kimdaly.tv. Now, back to the show.
So let's apply this to the viewers that the typical viewer of the Daily Coach is probably like an expat from corporate America, right? Like, their first time starting a business and really embracing this idea of control and freedom. Freedom comes at a price, right? So we're free to think however we want to think, but only certain thoughts are going to lead us to success. So help us apply this to the first time business owner. What are some practical daily tools? And now I'm going to warn you, as you say them, I might be reaching off camera to go, because I want to show you, not because I'm bragging about, but I'm telling you, you guys have heard my story. I spent 8 years as an average performing consultant and then broke free and made history in my business, all because I changed my mindset. I changed my focus. And that change in focus made all the difference. So when I did it, I was like, I had read all the books, I had all the knowledge, but I didn't actually do it. When I did it, I was like, oh. So now I want to help you not just have the knowledge, but to actually do it. And these are tools I still use 12, 13 years later. As JM said, it is a daily practice to put on your mindset. You get dressed, you brush your teeth, you put on your mindset. Who am I showing up as today? It's so critical. So give us some of these daily tools, practical tools that first time or new business owners should be trying to incorporate into their discipline or into their practice to help bring a winning mindset to everything they do.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I want everybody to know, it's not your fault because you weren't taught these things, right? It didn't happen. Typically, our parents weren't like, hey, let's work on your mindset. That's not the way it goes. So first off,
wait, only if you're Kim Daly's kids.
Your kids.
My kids roll their eyes at me big time, guys.
My kids, they literally, so there's kindred spirits, these poor kids. No, but it is funny because it's typically not taught to us. So these are things, once you open Pandora's box, you can never put it back in. And so that moment that happened for you, that happened for me too. And then you start to really realize that, if I do this every single day, if I'm very intentional about it, guess what? Now life becomes really easy. So some of the things that you asked for, the first thing that you've heard before, it won't be the first or the last time you hear it. Having a gratitude practice is so incredibly important. Why? Because it's the highest form. It's the highest form that a human being operates in, is in a state of gratitude. So before I ever let my left foot touch the floor, because that's the side of the bed I sleep on, I say 3 things I'm grateful for. Now, if my wife's sleeping, I say it aloud in my head. And it starts my day off in a way that, wow, I'm so blessed. I have so much to be grateful and thankful for. And then I quickly rush to the restroom because I drank water before that. Okay? So that's literally step 1, is just doing a gratitude practice. Now, what are we going to do to feed our mind? And I ask that question so frequently, and often I get blank stares back. So then I go to the first question. What is the first thing you do when you get up? And unfortunately, Kim, often I look at my cell phone. I go to my social media. Whatever involving electronic. It doesn't mean the electronics are bad. However, in that first hour of day, you are in the most optimal brain state you can be in. This is your time to capitalize, to really grow. So I told you about the gratitude practice. Then immediately I go into reading 10 pages, my meditation, journaling, so I've taken care of my mind. Then I'm going to work out, take care of my body, and then lastly, I'll come back around for either breath work or meditation. Now, my process is extremely long. That's probably an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on the day. I'm only asking my clients for 15 minutes. I want you to just take 5 minutes for your mind. So again, for me, it's reading. Take 5 minutes for your body. Stretch, move, just get a little sweat going. And 5 minutes for your soul. For me, that's meditation. For some, it's reading the Bible. It's taking a hike. It's going on the beach. I don't care what you choose to do, but take care of you first. Now we're at a place where, okay, my mindset's right. I'm ready to attack the day. I'm intentional about what that is. And you mentioned the Champions Daily Playbook. It's all in there. That entire process, that's what it is, because that's how I coach my clients. This is what we're going to do for 90 days, and you can accomplish anything you set out for.
How do people get to be coached by you?
That's an interesting one, because I stopped taking one-on-one clients for the most part, because I found it wasn't as effective, and I mean, truth be told, it was pretty expensive for the new people getting
like a personal trainer. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I have courses available that are on my website, and I definitely have the podcast, Let's Go Win podcast, that I send everybody to, that you are an amazing guest on. But it is interesting. I learned something, Kim, in my coaching. I learned a couple things. One, I can't want it more for you than you.
Oh my gosh, JM, that's how I feel every single day. I know that I want it more than, I get that.
It's so painful, right? Because we see the potential, we see the drive, we see these amazing human beings, but the mirror is not reflecting back to them what we see. And so I had to accept that a long time ago is, look, I can't want it more for you than you. You have to. That's first. The second thing, everybody wants to be happy. I have learned that. The commonalities, everybody wants to be happy. They just don't know how to create the habits in order to do so. And so that goes to your question. What do you do? These are the three things that I always take care of. My mind, my body, my soul, before I'm a dad, before I'm a employer, before I'm an employee, whatever hat you're wearing, take care of you first. Feed your mind something that's going to help it grow. And now we can start to attack the day.
I love everything you said. I do all of that. I love it. I feel like I'm living the Champions Playbook, but I'd still have to get a copy of it. If somebody wanted to get a copy of your playbook, or where do they go? Where's your website?
Letsgowin.com is, we have both books available there, and a third one that's about to drop, to the chagrin of my wife. She's like, stop writing, but I love it. It makes me happy.
So basically what you're saying is you've put all of these tools in programs that when the person is ready for it, they can go through it at their own pace, step by step. We're not paying JM to be our coach anymore at this point. Do you do masterminds?
I do masterminds. And that I'm not sure when the next one is, actually. I should know that. I'd have to ask our media firm that's building all that. But, what I wanted to do, Kim, is I wanted people to be able to access it. I thought of myself as that 20-year-old kid that didn't have the funds, and that shouldn't keep them from being able to work with someone like myself. And so it's like, I wanted to put it in the book. The first book was for the kids. I wrote it for them. And then the second book, I was like, well, this is what I'm doing with all my clients. Let's just give it to the world. And the challenge is, if you're not accountable to it, that's really what I get paid for the most part. And I'm sure you feel the same. It's like just holding people accountable to doing it. If you do that, you will accomplish whatever you set out to. But man, just you got to commit for 90 days.
Yeah. It's you said habits. Like I have a quote over here: successful people have successful habits. And I talk about this on my show. My followers have heard me say that, when you own a business, you're developing new muscles. And it's like going to the gym. In the beginning, it's super hard to get motivated to walk through the door. But the more you make yourself do it, the easier it gets, to where it becomes more weird to not go. right? And the same thing, you get under that first bench press and maybe you can only do the bar if you're me at 45 pounds, right? And then eventually you're benching 135 pounds if you're me, right? Because you do it and you get stronger. And as you lay more muscle, it gets easier and you can add more weight to yourself. So the same thing is true. I think in starting a business, you don't have to do all of these things at one time. You have to pick one or two things and get really good at them. And then you'll be ready for more. Your mindset, hopefully, if you own a business, is one of growth, not a fixed mindset, right? Like I say it all the time, if you're looking for comfort, don't come to Kim Daly. This isn't about finding comfort, maybe long-term comfort, but not in the short term while you're building a business. And it's about growth. It's that growth mindset. And that's what he's encouraging you to embrace. Like this morning, I do it every day too. This morning I actually got on YouTube and Wayne Dyer, because I'm always looking for mindset, thoughts. Wayne Dyer came up and it was an hour and a half free workshop that he had given. And I started listening to it, and I didn't have time to do all of it. I'm going to go to the gym later and get my steps in and I'm going to listen to the rest. But I started with the first 20 or 25 minutes while I was just meditating, and I had my journal, which I left out, and as I think, so shall I be, was one of the first things that Wayne said. I become what I think about. I wrote it 2 times and I circled it. And I know these things, but we all have to be reminded every single day, right? It's not enough to hear it once and think, okay, because life happens and you get frustrated or disappointed or distracted, and next thing you know, your mindset is spiraling down.
It's so true. And you talked about Wayne Dyer. I listen to him every single morning because I committed to listening to Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life from now until, I don't know, there will be a day that maybe I've memorized every word so much, but because it's so good, right? The Tao Te Ching is just such an important idea to me. And it's funny, or not funny, it's interesting. Again, your name Daly, and I love how you wink and smile every time. I often get asked, are you a life coach? And I'm like, well, if you add the word style to it, then yes, I'm a lifestyle coach. But I'm not a life coach, I'm a lifestyle coach. Everything we talk about, it's not a fad diet. This isn't something that I'm going to do it and I'm going to crush it and lose 50 pounds and then go back. No, we are going to do this every single day. This isn't instant gratification. This is putting in work so that you're happy, that you're healthy, and you're ultimately creating wealth. Those are the 3 values of my company: happy, healthy, wealthy. And it's like, but you need to do the work. You have to be intentional about it. And so make this a part of your lifestyle. What are you doing to be happy? And again, if that means going to social media, okay, let's choose some filters that are going to support that, i.e. motivation, i.e. inspiration, something positive, instead of just letting the algorithm tell you what your brain wants here. No, you be intentional about it, what it is. So it is funny. I've kind of changed my pace a little bit on social media to say, look, it's part of our lives. How can you utilize it so that it's feeding you positivity? And if you could do that, great tool. But if you're just haphazardly going through it, I promise you, someone else is running your agenda, and it's typically not a happy one.
Are you thinking now is the right time to take control of your future and your finances? Investing in a franchise business could be the perfect move for you, whether you're an entrepreneur, a savvy investor, or you're looking to escape corporate America to own your own business. My franchise consulting services are totally free to you. Please email me right now at inquire@kimdaly.tv. That's inquire@kimdaly.tv. Now, back to the show.
So just to flip it back to business, this is all so good. I mean, I could talk to you for an hour. I promise I won't, but I mean, I could just keep going on. I kind of have 2 big questions. We'll see if I can get to both of them or not. But The first question is, when it comes to like meeting a business owner, like I find that the candidates who are thinking about owning a business, Jam, they're very operationally focused. They're very like, it's understanding the operation that's going to make me successful. I'm like, okay, to some extent that's true. But like, what would you say to kind of flip that back to, it's your mindset about the operation that actually creates the result? Like, how do you help people get to understand that the mindset is the operating system over all of the operating systems?
Yeah, I think the easiest analogy I can give is Blockbuster and Netflix. It's like, look, the operating system Blockbuster had, they crushed it, and then the world changed, and they chose not to change with it. I'm not suggesting not to have a good system. That's great, but have a mindset that is of growth, that we are going to adapt, we're going to change, we're going to get better, because this world is not a stagnant place. It is constantly changing, and we're going through what's called converging technologies. The next decade is going to be faster than the previous 100 years. That's a fact. So having this growth mindset is so vitally important to you succeeding in business, succeeding at home, to say, look, what happened and worked yesterday doesn't mean that it's going to work today. And if you go...
It doesn't mean that that's bad.
No, look, it's just the way it is. And by the way, we as human beings like to be challenged. We get bored if it's too easy. So just embrace that. So it is for business owners, if you're considering this, yes, have a good strategy. Yes, go in. But most importantly, create that culture that you really want to be a part of. And your business could be selling tires today, and it could morph to, I don't know, selling, technology. I mean, it does happen that way because you were open to it, because you're a good leader and you have this mindset, anything is possible. But don't get fixed on one thing. Just make sure you commit to, I'm going to succeed, and then create that culture.
I mean, that was rock solid. And I'm going to just go back to what you just said and bring that back to all the conversations I had in Q4 about candidates asking me about, is the recessionary time a good time to start a business? And how I over and over and over and over tried to explain so many times that if you're going to decide to become a business owner, you can't worry about the market. The market's got to be able to change and grow and adapt and do what it's going to do. And guess what? You as a business owner are going to change and grow and adapt, and because if you can't control those things, so you just have to jump in and be nimble and be willing to grow. And the best thing about a franchise is you're not trying to solve those problems by yourself, right? You're partnered with people who, if you've done your due diligence, you feel are smarter than you, maybe have experience in a recessionary time. But going back to what JM said, it's, your mindset over that versus using that as the limiting belief to why you can't create an outcome. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. Okay. So the last question, so a question that candidates often ask me is, so how can I guarantee my success? Or like, how do I not fail? Like, it's the same question, right? So mindset coach, take it away.
Don't quit. That's literally step one, is just literally don't quit. And I know that sounds like, oh, that's too simple, but it's literally all there is. If you're willing to put everything out there, if you're willing to give it 100%, I mean, look in the mirror to say, did I give everything I had? It doesn't mean, did I say, are you good at it? Which, by the way, often we're not good our first year. You said 8 years, Kim. Kim wasn't great for 8 years, and she kept at it. She kept wanting to get better. And the Japanese have an amazing term called kaizen, which is the whole idea of just incrementally getting better every single day. And that leads to doing something pretty amazing. Here's the other thing. Perfection is the enemy of greatness. Don't wait to be perfect to start. I promise you, I wasn't great at the first business. I wasn't great at the first book. It was just putting yourself out there. So I guess that would be the two overall themes, Kim, is just don't quit. And remember, perfection is the enemy of greatness. Give it your all. Put yourself out there. You will continue to get better. Maybe you do hit it huge your first time, but more than likely you won't, and that's okay. If you keep at it, you 100% will, and that's the only guarantee I can give you is if you don't quit, you will succeed.
And to bring it back to how you started the conversation where you really talked about the joy is in the journey. If everything went right out of the gate, like where's the joy in that? I mean, yeah, I'm being a little bit funny because I know money is on the line and we don't have endless deep pockets when we start a business, and we do need things to go right and become profitable. But when you said we were screaming at each other, it's like so true. Like I would say the first year that I made history in my business, climbing to the top was the most fun year. I've repeated that 12 times now, 13 times now. And yeah, it's great. But the most fun was the first time that I did it. And really what was fun was not even knowing. It was the uncertainty. But I was certain inside myself that I was going somewhere good. I just didn't know where. And it was the culmination of all that I had put into that goal in my daily focus, what became for me that first year of daily focus with clarity on controlling what I could control and forgetting the rest, which was a huge discipline. Oh my gosh, it was like, no, you committed to this. Focus on this, because this is what you can control, Kim. Forget the rest. And I had to talk myself into it and out of it and into it. But so standing on that mountaintop at the end of the year and thinking back, it was the year that was the most gratifying experience, right? And so it's like raising kids. We know when they're young and they're so precocious and they say the fun little things that these are the best days of our lives, even though in the middle of that, there are days we're wishing it away. Right? But you just somehow know this is the sweetest time in my life. And I hope that this conversation inspires those dreamers out there who are thinking about starting a franchise, or maybe you already own a franchise and you're looking for that inspiration. I would really encourage you to go check out JM's podcast, Let's Go Win, his website, Let's Go Win, get the book, get the playbook, listen to this, episode again. Because it's as simple as everything we've said. I know sometimes the simple things get overlooked, right? Because it's too easy. I did too. I was like, no, this can't be it. But it is it, right?
So true. And I know we're pressed for time. Those that are at their wits' end where it's like, I'm ready to fail and quit. Think of all the entrepreneurs that's what gave them the hunger and drive to overcome. When it's too easy, you just get lazy. So every time a recession comes, my business has grown because you're getting faced with this stuff. So that's when you embrace the suck and be like, thanks, appreciate your recession. Sounds awesome.
Amazing. I love it. JM, thank you for being our special guest here today at Kim Daily TV. For those of you who are listening, if you want further information, you can follow the description below to get more information from JM Ryerson. I appreciate you being my special guest. And until next time, remember that my name is Kim Daly, and I want to be your daily coach.
If you found this inspiring, please contact me at inquire@kimdaly.tv. My consulting services are totally free to you. Again, that email is inquire@kimdaly.tv. I can't wait to hear from you.